Hacker.
A hacker is a person skilled in information technology who uses their technical knowledge to achieve a goal or overcome an obstacle within a computerized system by non-standard means. Though the term hacker has become associated in popular culture with a security hacker, someone who utilizes their technical know-how of bugs or exploits to break into computer systems and access data which would otherwise be inaccessible to them, hacking can also be utilized by legitimate figures in legal situations. For instance, police enforcement authorities occasionally employ hacking strategies to gather proof against criminals and other bad actors. This can entail assuming the identities of criminals by employing online anonymity technologies, such as VPN or the dark web, to conceal their identities. The legal conduct of covert world agencies' activity may also involve the use of hacking techniques. On the other hand, hacking and cyber attacks are used illegally and extra-legally by law enforcement and security services, performing warrantless activities, and state actors use them as a tool for both legitimate and criminal combat. There are two definitions of hacker, which correspond to the two varieties of hackers. Originally, the term hacker merely indicated someone who was interested in cutting-edge computer technology, including hardware and software. See hacker culture. A person with the ability to bypass computer security. The individual may also be referred to as a cracker if they are acting in a malevolent manner. Due to widespread media usage of the term since the 1990s, hacker is now most commonly used to describe computer criminals. This includes those who break into systems using software created by others while having little to no knowledge of how it works, known as script kiddies in hacker parlance. The general public is largely ignorant that other interpretations exist because this usage has grown so commonplace. While computer security hackers commonly accept and embrace hobbyist self-description as hackers, members of the programming subculture believe this usage is inappropriate and intentionally emphasize the distinction between the two by referring to security breakers as crackers, analogous to a safecracker. The contention is typically predicated on the claim that the term originally referred to someone tinkering with something in a constructive manner, i.e., utilizing playful cunning to accomplish a goal. However, it is assumed that the term's meaning changed throughout the years to refer to cyber criminals. The original meaning has lost some of its familiarity as the security-related usage has become more widespread. Today, the term computer intruders or computer criminals is used exclusively in everyday speech and the media. For instance, in March, a state government security system was breached by an internet hacker. The basic meaning of the term is a flattering descriptor of a particularly talented programmer or technical specialist in the community of computer enthusiasts, hacker culture. For instance, some consider Linux developer Linus Torvalds to be a hacker. The latter, according to a sizable portion of the technical community, is the word's correct usage. See the jargon file definition below. Hacker culture. The term hacker culture refers to a group of enthusiastic computer programmers and systems designers that congregated in the 1960s at MIT's Tech Model Railroad Club, TMRC, and MIT Artificial Intelligence Laboratory. The idea spread to the home computing hobbyist group, concentrating on software, video games, software cracking, and the demo scene in the 1980s and 1990s and hardware in the late 1970s, e.g., the Homebrew Computer Club, 16. This would later come to include many more definitions, including art and life hacking. Type of hackers. Hackers who target security. Cyber criminals who work to get around computer security are known as security hackers. There are various categories of security hackers, including white hat hacker. White hat hackers look for system flaws that can be fixed in order to protect data from other hackers. White hats are frequently employed by the owner of the target system and are compensated, sometimes rather generously, for their job. Their work is legitimate because it is done with the owner of the system's permission. Black hat hacker. Hackers with bad intents are referred to as black hats or crackers. They frequently steal, abuse, and sell data, and are typically acting for their own financial advantage. Typically, their work is unlawful. A cracker is similar to a black hat hacker, 18, but they are more proficient and attempt to use hacking for their own benefit or to make money rather than only to cause harm. Crackers discover system vulnerabilities that may be exploited, and they frequently take advantage of this by either selling the system owner the remedy or selling the exploit to other black hat hackers who then use it to steal data or earn money. The primary distinction between the computer security hacker subculture and the programmer subculture is that both groups have mostly independent historical antecedents. However, according to the jargon file, there was a lot of overlap for the early phreaking around the start of the 1970s. The term hacker was first used in this context in 1963 in a negative sense to refer to someone tampering with the phone system in an article from MIT's student newspaper The Tech. When new participants in the activity who participated in a less responsible manner joined, the overlap immediately began to disintegrate. This happened following the release of a piece outing Draper and Ingressia's actions. According to Raymond, computer security hackers prefer covert groups and identity-concealing aliases, whereas hackers from the programming subculture typically work openly and use their own names. Additionally, their actual activities tend to be rather different. While the latter strongly emphasizes the general act of circumventing security measures, with the effective use of the knowledge, which can be to report and assist in fixing the security bugs, or exploitation reasons, being only somewhat secondary, the former place a focus on developing new infrastructure and improving existing infrastructure, especially the software environment they work with. The incompatible timesharing system created by MIT hackers, which purposefully lacked security protections, was designed differently from these viewpoints than others. However, there are some minor overlaps because programmers and hackers have a shared understanding of computer security. In his 1983 Turing Award talk, Ken Thompson, for instance, mentioned that it is possible to add code to the Unix login command that would accept either the intended encrypted password or a specific known password, providing a backdoor into the system with the latter password. His creation was given the name Trojan Horse. Thompson further stated that in order to make it more difficult to notice the update, the C compiler itself may be changed to automatically generate the rogue code. The Trojan horse might likewise be automatically installed in a new compiler program without any discernible modification to the source of the new compiler because the compiler is itself a program built from a compiler. But Thompson made it clear that he was not affiliated with the computer security hackers in any way. I would want to condemn the press in its handling of the hackers, the 414 gang, the Dalton gang, etc. These children's actions are, at best, vandalism and, at worst, probably trespassing and stealing. I have seen young witnesses testify in front of Congress. They obviously have no idea how severe their actions are, as is evident. The hacker subculture of programmers views secondary security mechanism circumvention as acceptable if it is carried out to remove actual obstacles so that work may be done. That may even be a type of fun cleverness in some circumstances. However, the programmer subculture of hackers does not actually have any interest in engaging in such actions on a regular basis, nor does it have any bearing on its day-to-day activities. Another distinction is that historically, hackers who were programmers worked at academic institutions and utilized the computing infrastructure there. The typical computer security hacker, however, only had access to a home computer and a modem. However, since the mid-1990s, when affordable home internet access became available along with home computers that could run Unix-like operating systems, many individuals from outside the academic community have begun to participate in the programmer subculture of hacking. There have been some conceptual and organizational parallels with the computer security hacking community since the mid-1980s. The most notable example is Robert T. Morris, who used MIT AI but also created the Morris worm. As a result, the jargon file refers to him as a real hacker who blundered. However, those who are a part of the coder subculture frequently dismiss and dissociate themselves from these overlaps. They frequently denigrate members of the computer security subculture as crackers, and they reject any definition of hacker that includes such behaviors. The computer security hacking subculture, on the other hand, does not prefer to make such a clear distinction between the two subcultures, noting that they share many characteristics, such as a large membership, political and social objectives, and a love of technological learning. They reserve the name cracker for their script kids and black hat hackers, respectively. Hardware modifications are related to all three subcultures. Freaks were creating blue boxes and its different iterations in the early days of network hacking. Several hardware hacks are mentioned in the folklore of the programmer subculture of hackers, including one involving a strange magic switch attached to a PDP-10 computer in MIT's AI lab that, when turned off, caused the computer to crash. The earliest home computers used by amateur hackers were constructed by them using DIY kits. All of these activities ceased in the 1980s, however, when the phone network switched to digitally controlled switchboards, forcing network hacking to switch to dialing remote computers with modems. When pre-built, affordable home computers became available, and when academic institutions began to give scientists their own mass-produced workstation computers rather than using a central time-sharing system. Case modding is currently the only type of mainstream hardware modification. At the end of the 1980s, a group of computer security hackers sympathizing with the Chaos Computer Club, which denied any knowledge of these activities, broke into the computers of American military organizations and academic institutions. This was the first time that programmers and the computer security hacker subculture had ever met. One of them did so in order to support his drug addiction by selling data from these computers to the Soviet secret agency. Clifford Stoll, a physicist who also served as a system administrator, discovered a means to log the attacks and track them back, which led to the conclusion of the case, with the help of many others. 23 is a fictionalized adaptation of a German novel that shows the events from the assailant's point of view. In his book The Cuckoo's Egg and the television documentary The KGB, The Computer, and Me, Stoll provided a different take on the matter. Eric S. Raymond says that it shows the distinction between hacker and cracker quite effectively. Stoll presents a delightfully clear image of how hackers and the people around them like to live and think in his portrait of himself, his Lady Martha, and his acquaintances at Berkeley and online.